Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to another fun and exciting episode of This Week in Canada. My name is Roberto Wakeroll Cruz. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful July Friday. Not too much in the news. I gotta say, the news cycle's been a little slow, but there has been a number of things that have piqued my interest and that I would like to show you, as is the purpose of this show, starting with Stephen Guilbeault. Let's all talk about Stephen Guilbeault. We all remember this guy, right? He was the Minister of Heritage that took it upon, I don't know, himself or maybe at the direction of Justin Trudeau to censor the internet. That was his whole thing. Really wanted to get that bill passed, Bill C-10. It's still back here. It's Bill C-11 now. But he now is the Minister of Climate, Minister for the Environment, sorry. He is the Minister for the Environment, and he hasn't really been doing much. He's been kind of a letdown lately. I haven't heard too much about him. He used to be quite the center of controversy, but is now kind of fizzled out in the background. So what does Stephen Guilbeault do, who is short, by the way? May I remind you, he's like 5'6". Just side note. But what does Stephen Guilbeault do to keep himself in the headlines? Well, in November, at the COP26 globalist weird kind of UN meeting in Scotland that was about the environment, Stephen Guilbeault said, hey, I have an idea. You know how much I love the environment? I'm going to take the train. I'm going to take the train all the way across Canada, and I'm going to spread the good word of climate change. Just spread as if anyone doesn't know about climate change, as if you can't just Google climate change and get like a million articles about climate change, right? But Stephen Guilbeault took it upon himself. He was like, hey, I'm going to take a train from like Ottawa to like BC, and it's going to be fun, and everyone's going to love me for it. Well, that trip's been postponed. Via Rail, more like via snail, is unable to do the trip for Guilbeault because of the pandemic, because there isn't enough demand. Have you ever tried to take Via Rail before? It is terrible. I've used it a couple times from Montreal to Windsor, Ontario. You think, oh, you know what's awesome? I'm going to take the train. It's going to save me time and energy because I will not have to drive. So let's go, boop, boop, boop. Let's go Google how much a train is. I just Googled this. We could put up the price here of what it is right now if you want to see. But usually, if you book it on a short notice, maybe a week away, a round trip will cost you something like $500 from Montreal to Windsor, Ontario. Excuse me? I thought it was in my own country. I could go. I went to the UK and it was a $600 flight. So what would I rather do? I don't know. Probably go to the UK if I could even get a flight nowadays. But anyway, Stephen Guilbeault has postponed his whole trip. He told ministers before, I look forward to traveling across the country early in the new year by train to meet and discuss climate change with Canadians in all parts of the country. Well, we're halfway through the year, and it looks like that's not going to happen. Guilbeault's director of communication, Oliver Anderson, said that via snail's reduced service prevented the office from being able to bring together something that would be billed as cross-country tour just because it was not logistically feasible. That's the state of travel in Canada right now. I don't know if you know, but it is in the charter that you're supposed to be able to work and live in any part of the country. But that's clearly not the case, and clearly our government doesn't care about that because I don't know if you guys remember this, but for a long time, unvaccinated people were not allowed to travel on planes domestically. Isn't that crazy? In January, Via Rail announced that it was significantly reducing the train frequencies on its most popular line connecting Quebec City and Windsor, the Quebec-Windsor corridor, due to reduced travel caused by the, quote, rapid spreading of the Omicron variant, it said in a statement. The company has slowly been increasing its departures on that line since then. So this isn't going to work out for Stephen Guilbeault. I don't even know why you would want to. I guess you could do that if you were like really adventurous, but doesn't he have like stuff to do? He's a minister for the environment. I don't know if you're supposed to be able to take like a week off to take the train to go see not your constituents in like Alberta where they hate you and talk to them about climate change. Also, like, have you ever tried to use the internet on a Via Rail train? Now, I'm a pleb and I don't pay for the internet when I go on Via Rail, but I'm sure Stephen Guilbeault has enough of that cheddar, enough of our cheddar that he's getting paid to afford the internet. The office continued. Nonetheless, the minister is conducting broad outreach this year across Canada and continues to use the train often. He is a great supporter of the train travel and continued expansion of passenger rail networks in the country. Anderson said Guilbeault would still like to embark on the train tour eventually, but that the idea is currently on ice because the ministers do not know when VIA rail service will be fully up and running. At one point in this National Post article, it says that there were points in the trip where he would have had a 4-day delay, overlay, what's it called? When you have to wait for a train for 4 days. That's what I'm trying to say. And the minister's going to sit around and wait for a train for 4 days? What, he doesn't want to sit in Moose Jaw for 4 days waiting for a train to Banff or whatever? No, he doesn't. He's a little bit too good for that. I saw him biking around once in Montreal, and even on a bike, which is supposed to make you like taller, he looked very short. I don't know. That guy freaks me out. He's a felon, by the way. He climbed the CN Tower and accomplished nothing, I guess. I don't know. And the weird thing is he put up a thing that said something about like George W. Bush on the CN Tower. Like, what are you doing, dude? Get it together. Moving on to our next topic. Award-winning novelist who helped former finance minister Bill Morneau craft his memoir says that the results are going to be tough on Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Where to from here? A Path to Canadian Prosperity is set to be published in January by ECW Press, based in Toronto. Quote, I'm a little hesitant to give too much away, but it's going to cause people to reassess in ways that they may not have done now Justin Trudeau's role as Prime Minister, said John Lawrence Reynolds in an interview. So let's just break this down really quick. First of all, what is a ghostwriter anymore if you can just come out and say that you wrote a guy's book? I know this point was made a few times on Twitter. I think I might be stealing this again from JJ McCullough. But if you're a ghostwriter, if you ghostwrite a book, are you not supposed to be like in the shadow? I know ghostwriters. I know people that have ghostwritten books for politicians, but they never come out of the woodwork and say, yeah, you know what? I wrote that book. They're not even hiding it anymore. Like, I know everyone knows this. Obama didn't write his book, Memoir, Dreams of My Father or whatever. Justin Trudeau certainly did not write his book. I think I know who ghostwrote that one based on rumors. But now the ghostwriters are just, I don't know, are they trying to get more cred? In that case, you should just become a writer, like a non-ghostwriter, like a living writer. I don't know, seems weird to me. So, quote, the biggest surprise, obviously, will be the background of the reason Mr. Morneau left. A substantial surprise will be his highly qualified and substantive opinion of Justin Trudeau's weakness as Prime Minister. We gave Bill Morneau a very hard time during his time as Finance Minister, but boy, oh boy, would we all like a Bill Morneau right now. Comparatively, I don't know if you know, but Chrystia Freeland is the finance minister right now, okay? She's not doing a good job. I would say she's doing a bad job. And, you know, some people consider her the minister of everything. I consider her the minister of kind of nothing. I know she has this figurehead role. They're kind of propping her up to be like the next leader of the Liberal Party, which everyone assumes would be a good idea, but I don't really see that working. And I don't know why I don't see it working, because the points that I'm going to say are all things that Justin Trudeau has won 3 elections on. She's very condescending, smug, which I like to think would resonate poorly with the Canadian public, but again, has worked in the last 3 elections with Justin Trudeau. She doesn't seem to be overly competent. I mean, certainly she isn't dumb. I don't think she's dumb. She speaks many languages. She was a journalist. She's, which I don't know if that means anything anymore, but she speaks many languages. She seems like fairly competent, but I don't think she's particularly clever in the way that Canadians need a very clever kind of altogether person that she's not a unifier. That's I guess what I'm trying to say. And case in point, how smug she is. Did you guys check out what she said during that question about ArriveCAN? So there's a question. I don't know if you've left the country or tried to whatever. There's an app that you have to use. It's called ArriveCAN. And if you don't use it, even if you're a Canadian citizen, and you get to the border and go, hello, I'm a Canadian citizen, I would like to come into my country, the border guards will say, do you have your ArriveCAN ready? And if you don't, it can lead to fines. This seems very conspiratorial of me, but I believe this has some kind of roots in the World Economic Forum that if we can pull up, maybe we can put right here. It's about some kind of global travel pass. I would encourage you to research that on your own. But anyway, when Chrystia Freeland gets asked about this, because of course you need to be vaccinated to enter Canada, but if you're a Canadian citizen, you can enter unvaccinated. She gets asked, hey, what's going on with ArriveCAN? Is that going to be around forever? She goes, listen, Canadians, we're so modest. And we elect such modest leaders, And that's something, our prudence has been something that let's just roll the clip because it'll make you vomit.
Why has your government kept the ArriveCAN app in place after making changes at the border?
You know what? Let me start by saying, Canadians, we believe in modesty and humility as a national virtue, and I think that is a good thing. And certainly, I don't think anyone would argue that it's a problem to have political leaders who are too modest or too humble. I think people might have a problem going in the other direction. But I do want to say one thing that Canadians should be quietly proud of, collectively, all of us together. And that is how we have gotten through COVID so far.
It's so wild that the Canadian government seems to hate unvaccinated people so much. Oh, we hate you. Oh, did you get your 4th dose yet? Oh, you really need to get that 5th dose. Jean-Yves Duclos says, get your 5th dose. Have you not gotten dosed yet? Have you not accepted the vaccine yet? Seems like they hate these people so much, and yet they do everything in their power to keep them here. It's like impossible to leave if you don't have a certain app or if you don't have blah, blah, blah. It's endless. Anyway, what a load of shit from Chrystia Freeland. If that's who they're lining up after Justin Trudeau, based on what we've seen and what we can expect from Canadians, Canada's in for a rough time. She's a little weft puppet too, right? She's like she's like a minister at the World Economic Forum. Good luck, Canada. I don't know, man. I'm moving to Tennessee if this keeps up. Let's just keep going with a little bit of news. Oh, wait. One more thing about that. The ministers are saying now that the backlog of passports for people to leave the country again, if they want to be able to leave, they need their passport. Those backlogs are hopefully going to be done by the end of the summer, which means, if you watched my episode 2 or 3 weeks ago, means that they took my advice and they're just going to make more passports. This has been my idea the whole time. I didn't think it was a complicated idea. I thought it was actually pretty simple because I went to a beer store, and at the beer store, they had a little passport, and the passport looked like a real passport, and it's just a passport where you write down the name of the beer, and then like, oh, does it have a hoppy taste, or does it have is that a good head? Is this malt, or is it... is it a cider? And you just rate the beer in the passport. The passport was $10. It looked like a real passport. And it was made like in probably 30 seconds in a factory. I understand that there's security thing. You have to make sure it glows under a blue light and that you can, there's a picture of an Inuktuk on it on the first page or whatever. You can do all that pretty easily. You need to generate passport IDs? I don't know. Can't you do that on a website? It seems like the thing they should be doing the whole time was making more passports. I don't know. Forgive me. Does that seem ignorant? I guess so. I don't have too much to go over this week, so I thought maybe I would close out on something that I wrote down some jokes. And you could tell me what you think of these jokes, but they're bad. They're not very good jokes, but I would like to end on it, and then we'll close on a video that I think is cool. So let's do this like a late night show. So I'm going to go behind this curtain. Our editor is going to put on some music or something, and then I will start the monologue with a laugh track. All right, let's go. Oh, wow. What the hell's going on? Look at this. Wow, what a fantastic audience. What a fantastic audience. All right. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Ontario has reported its first female case of monkeypox in Ontario. When asked about her symptoms, the patient said that she felt like she was going bananas. Woo! Wow. Authorities are looking for a pair of identical twins after a man was stabbed in downtown Toronto. Police say to be out on the lookout for these two who allegedly screamed, "Da stabby?" after the incident. Woo! TikTok joke. That's for the young people in the crowd. Woo! This one's a bit rough. Someone in Toronto bumped into both Drake and Adam Sandler on the street last weekend, meaning she's just one Zac Efron away from bumping into celebrities who you always forget are Jewish. Whoa, he's going wild. Toronto supermarkets have announced that they'll be removing the single-use plastic wrap from cucumbers later this year. That's a win for the environmentalists. Have you heard about this? The single-use cucumber wraps. No more. Some experts are warning that this could result in a boom of baby dill pickles. Thank you so much for joining me on This Week in Canada. My name's Roberto Wakeroll Cruz. Let's close it out on a cool video. I haven't really decided what the cool video is yet. Oh, yeah, I know what it is. Actually, I want to talk about this. So, I'm a baseball guy. I'm a big baseball fan. I'm a Toronto Blue Jays fan, for the record, and we're doing pretty poorly. We just fired our manager, Charlie Montoyo. Sorry if I'm out of focus. I don't know how camera works. Charlie Montoyo has just been fired by the Toronto Blue Jays because apparently he was too nice. They would go on these losing sprees, and Charlie Montoyo would just go up and be like, hey, yes, we need to do better. Well, if you guys got it, keep it up. You guys are doing good. So he would just walk in and just meander, and all the players are like, what the hell's up with Charlie Montoyo? He's too nice. He was good to get the young guys going. He was good. He went from a 90-loss season to a 95-win season in 2 years. Getting those young beans sprouting, as some might say. But he wasn't kicking their asses enough. So they fired him. That has nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about. They played the Phillies. And they have an all-star catcher. His name is, I think, JP Realmuto. Good catcher. He gets paid millions of dollars. And he was unable to play in the 2-game series in Toronto. It was in Canada because he was not vaccinated. So let's close on this video of JP Realmuto telling it like it is, saying, yeah, I'm going to lose $250,000 for not playing these 2 games, but the government of Canada does not get to decide what I put in my body. Play the clip. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll be back next week. God bless you. Bye-bye.
How do you feel about it, I guess? Some people say you're letting your team down. Teammates have supported you, though. So how do you feel about it?
I mean, yeah, it's an extremely unfortunate situation. Obviously, my teammates know how I feel about them and how bad I want to be out there with them, but it's just unfortunate that I'm not able to make the trip.
What are your reservations with the team?
I'm a healthy 31-year-old professional athlete that I just didn't feel a need to get it. I've had COVID a couple of times and super mild symptoms back when it first came out, and when it came time to decide whether I needed a vaccine or not, talked with a couple of doctors that I knew and told them my story, and just really decided I didn't think I needed it. And I wasn't going to take it just because I was told to, basically. So,
Even if it meant not missing, because you're going to forfeit a good amount of salary.
Yeah, but I mean, what's money when I'm not going to let Canada tell me what I do and don't put in my body for a little bit of money? It's just not worth it for me.